This about to be one of them ones, man. First of all, let me introduce you correctly. One of the most legendary people in battle rap. Y'all may not notice, but he actually was involved in GrindTime all the way up to OSBL ATL. He's done a lot of work behind the scenes, in front of the camera. He is a pioneer of battle rap, none other than the legendary Chris Petty. We're going to get started with the questions, but Chris, I want you to take us to the beginning. How did you get involved in battle rap?
Um, it's kind of a funny story. I had some really bad health problems back in 2006, 2007. I was not well, and my cousin, who is my who helped me start Grind Time, um, he started coming over to my house while I was dealing with chemo and things, and he started showing me these battles, and I just got obsessed with it. Like it was one of those things that kind of actually helped me get through what I was dealing with, and I just fell in love with it, bro. The art form, the creativity, what the talent these guys had. It was so much more different than music. It was something new every time these guys had to get on stage and get on front of this camera and everything like that. It drew me in, and I was hooked. I think one of the first battles I ever watched was uh, Iron Solomon versus Flames outside Tower Records. Of course, I saw, I get tuned into the party already in Mook, and then Shirt and Tie versus Sirius Jones, Shirt and Tie versus Iron Solomon. Like I started really kind of went to all the rap Olympic stuff and everything like that.
That's crazy. So you were in
And
the building for Rap Olympics, and rest in peace, Party Artie, of course.
yeah, man. So I just started. I just got kind of obsessed, and my cousin Deuce and my first artist Sid Vicious from Grind Time. So we were all talking one night, and I said, "Yo, bro, I think I can do something with this."
Wow.
And everybody was like, "Bullshit, bullshit." And I reached out to Direct on YouTube, and Direct, we kind of messaged back and forth on YouTube, and then he set up a call between myself, him, Matt Ills, and Lush One, and that is how GrindTime Atlanta got started. We opened up another division. Went down to, if you go and watch Conceited versus Hollow, Conceited versus Ilmac, that is that you'll see me in the background. The first artist I ever managed was Conceited.
You managed Conceited?
That's
That's crazy.
You go to my YouTube channel right now, my personal YouTube channel, and you'll see videos of me and Khan, me and Quantum Physics. I was an original Sons member.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's insane.
yeah, I was part of a squad of a name I couldn't say. It's crazy.
Nah, that's insane. so, so you just reached out to them on social media, and y'all just created Grind Time from there.
No, Grind Time was already a thing. Grind Time had the West Coast division, the New York division, Midwest, and Florida. It was kind of a weird thing because Florida was so close to Georgia. It was kind of one of those conversations of, does it make sense to have this other Southern division? And I was like, look, there's talent down here. There's people down here. I was hanging out at this place called Apache Cafe where battles
I
happened
remember
all
Apache
the
Cafe.
time.
That's in ATL. I remember that.
Yeah. So I was down there all the time. Sid was battling. I even battled back then. I battled Reed Richards from the WRCs. I don't know
That's
if you guys are familiar.
crazy. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay, so y'all founded Grind Time Atlanta.
yeah, we founded Grind Time Atlanta, which later turned into Grind Time Georgia.
Okay.
Um, so I had a, I had a, everything was going really well. I had an investor that my somebody I'd worked with out in Cali. I lived out in Cali for quite some time. and had a guy that was interested in the art form. He was he ran a production company out in Santa Monica called Blind Visual Propaganda, and I worked for him out there. And when that was the first person I called when I thought about putting all this together. And he wanted to put a pretty substantial amount of money up, um, kind of as a business loan, $50,000, which back then in 2008 at the
Was a
time
lot of money.
was a lot of money. Funny story. Um, I had a conversation with Murda Mook. I tried to set Mook and Solomon up back in 2008, and when Mook told me the number, I hung up on him.
It was too crazy.
At the time it was like 80 grand.
That's insane. But you know that hasn't changed.
Which back
Battlers giving crazy numbers. That habit hasn't changed yet.
back then was insane. Back then was insane. Um, I'd put together sponsorship for Awkwards and T-Rex.
Amazing.
And we did some very incredible things. As things kind of progressed, I kept asking for certain paperwork and things like that. Like, we had already started the division. John the Don had tried out for us. That was one of our first artists, Brixx Belvy, Ness
Salute
Lee,
the
Carter
Brixx. Salute the
Deems.
Ness Lee. Wow, those are serious names. Okay, so they were auditioning for y'all.
Yeah, this was all. Yeah, these all ended up being original GrindTime Georgia roster members. PC. Um, I mean, you name it. If they were down here, like they, yeah, they. I mean, we had some amazing talent come out of here. Um, Kind of as it progressed, um, you know, I was asking for certain paperwork that just couldn't be provided. Lush and I ended up having a falling out. I kind of got this breakdown of what the money was going to go to, and it was like, oh well, this person gets 5 grand, and this person gets 5 grand, and it was all the presidents of their divisions. And I was like, yo, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, this money was more about funding events, because at the time we were all paying out of pocket. We were all multiple people in a hotel room. We were crowdfunding plane tickets or bus tickets to get wherever we needed to go. And these events, one of our homeboys were the camera guys. The venues we were using, we knew somebody who owned the venue. Like, this was very. This there wasn't there when they say you weren't in the gym shooting with us, it wasn't even a gym yet. This is a dirt this is a dirt road in a light pole with a goddamn milk crate on it. That's where we were shooting. Like, this is the beginning times of all of this. And it Lush and I kind of started butting heads on certain situations, and then stuff just wasn't adding up. I ended up having a falling out with Lush that just was kind of unrepairable on my side. Like, I just couldn't get past it. Um, they weren't us. They weren't a legitimate company. GrindTime did not become. They didn't have an LLC until about a year after I left GrindTime.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they ended up having to change their logo because their logo was not owned by them either. The original GrindTime logo was owned by a guy named Dirty Deems, who created the logo. When they had a falling out with him, he was like, "You can't use my work," so on and so forth. New logo comes out.
Wow.
In this time, yeah, yeah. So it was one of these conversations where, like, Drect didn't want me to leave, Ills didn't want me to leave, but it just, like, I was still on kind of I was, man, I was 20 at the time.
You were young.
I was kind of coming home professionally
Oh wait.
and
Wait,
business
your phone
wise.
is breaking up. You said you were how old?
27.
Oh wow, okay. So this is early.
Yeah, this is super
So
early.
you decided
I'm
to venture out?
27. So I start talking. Me and Con are talking. We're kind of going over some things, and I'm still kind of helping him get to certain, like the Cortez battle for Rest of Soul PH. I helped facilitate
Rest
that
in peace,
battle.
PH.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so yeah, so me and Khan, had a very close relationship. So Khan puts me on the phone with Norbes.
Oh, this okay. Here we go. Go ahead.
Right before I left GrindTime, I was in the middle of booking T-Rex versus Math Hoffa on GrindTime East Coast. Contracts were sent out. The contracts, there's a YouTube video of them signing them actually. Um, they had violated the contracts right out the gate because they said how much money was they were getting paid. Like literally, like as they're signing it, they're violating the shit out of the contract. But Khan puts me on the phone with Norbes. Norbes is like, look, let me put you on the phone with my business partners, which was Smack and Beasley at the time. This is Smack before the beard. This is this URL had not even been created yet.
Wow.
This is Smack DVD era. This is them on the brink of trying to start URL. So Norbes and I get on the phone. We're talking. Math and I are talking. Rex and I are talking. We're trying to work out all the details. And basically, I just kind of handed the battle over. URL took care of all the finance part of it. I just kind of removed myself after that because things had gotten kind of so heated between Lush and I that, like, I was on like complete bullshit. Like, this is like Twitter had just started. I think I took a break from all this. I think my last tweet, I think I put out at that time was like, yo, I'd rather do life in prison than see you breathe again. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, he made a whole diss track about me, a track called So Petty. Mentioned my wife, mentioned my cancer, mentioned all that at the time. Kind of took that to heart and, wasn't the happiest.
Understood.
So, yeah, so, the URL situation happens. Norbes and the guys over there, Smack, Beasley, they were able to get the battle situated, and that's the first URL event. It's the first main event for the first URL event.
So, what do you then go on to do? Since they end up taking the Math and Rex battle, what do you end up doing?
So I continue to work with Conceited and the guys and Sons, and I'm kind of way back behind the scenes of GrindTime Georgia still because my cousin and Sid kind of took it over for me, and they kept doing events and things like that. They'd call me, ask me what I thought about this and that. But I kind of just took a little break for a minute. Then I get a phone call from Don't Flop. They want to start doing stuff in the United States, and one of the stops was Atlanta. And Sonny Bamboo, who was the GrindTime Midwest president, was my homeboy, and he had moved back home here to Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. And so he had basically told her, hey, look, if we're going to do something, we really ought to work with Chris. Like, he's like business minded and things like that. Like, we were trying to incorporate stuff like back then, battle rappers made music. Battle rappers had a lot of different things. They weren't just battle rappers. These guys had other things going on. And we were trying to implement things like ASCAPs and BMIs and get guys studio time and things of that nature in lieu of for battles, because money wasn't a thing at the time. We're like, well, if we can't if we can't pay you, well, let us help you get this, because one of the people that I worked with very closely was an artist by the name of Kyle Lucas that was signed to Purple Ribbon All Stars, which is Big Boy's label down here in Atlanta. And so he was going to help us kind of get that facilitated and help these artists kind of get all their stuff legitimized and start being able to make money for their music and things. So Don't Flop comes around. I start working with them. Some moments here, Math Hoffa versus Chilla Jones, K Shine and DNA versus John the Don and Saya Boy.
Classic.
Yeah. We threw some really big matchups. John versus Pat Stay. I put that battle together. Um, Here in Atlanta, it was done on A3C. And funny story, the rumor is that URL was the first battle rap company on A3C, which is a big hip hop uh, festival down here in Atlanta, and that is not true. GrindTime threw the first event ever on A3C way before Cardi B was a ring girl.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we did some pretty we working with Don't Flop, we brought back the 2v2 and made that a thing. After that, everybody wanted to do 2v2s. Um, you know, uh, so after the Don't Flop stuff, I get approached by John the Don outside of one of the Don't Flop events. And he's like, "Hey man, I've always, we've always worked really well together. Whoop de whoop, whatever. You know, big bro, this, and hey, I got an idea. All right, cool. I'm all ears." So we start Bullpen. It's
You
myself,
started bullpen with
him.
John John.
Yes.
Okay, who were the founding members?
Yeah. Yeah. Me, myself, and Will.
Wow.
Sorry, John, myself, and Will were the three original partners of
Got it.
Bullpen. That's when you got Cold War. That's when you got the original Fade, Southern Crown. You got a lot of the really really big events. Um, you know, in business, things don't always work out. Money started to become kind of an issue. I was kind of tired of spending and not making at this point because the budgets just got blown. Like we kind of had lined it out like this will last a year. We can do this, and then the next thing I know, like in 3 events, it's the budget's just blown,
So,
gone.
what was the issue with the money not coming back? Was it not enough ticket sales? Battlers asking for too much money,
Yeah,
or what
brother.
was it?
Yeah, bro. I mean, this is the dawn of the pay per view era. This is you're trying to get people to support you. You're booking all these large names. We weren't booking, we were booking Math Hoffa and Cortez and Charlie Clips and DNA and Daylight was even booked at one point.
I remember being
Um,
introduced
you
to
know,
Shotgun Suge versus Bad News. Was around that time, right?
yeah, Shotgun Shug. We were not booking small names. And what was great was working with John is he had those relationships. I had those relationships, um, especially with Math and things like that. So but then financially stuff just started not making sense, man. So at that point you've got to kind of look at it and go, all right, so my ROI is just not really working out.
I understand.
You know what
I
I'm saying?
understand. Do you remember DNA versus Chef Trez, and were you involved in that?
Yeah, I was definitely
That was
involved in
my
that.
introduction to Chef Trez. What do you remember from that battle?
I remember that being one of probably the greatest rebuttal battles I've ever witnessed in my life. The the Spanish the Spanish bar where he's like they sound different but they seem similar but they speak different, and it was a gun reference. DNA went crazy. That's Loso versus Excel on that
Mm-hmm.
card. That's Riggs versus Cortez, where Riggs gave out a pair of Cortez mid round. We had Julio Jones in the building for that. Julio Jones, by the way, was a huge Chef Trez fan. Um, and so Julio Jones was in the building for that. We had people like Jermaine Dupri pulling
Wow.
up, with everything that we were doing. We also ended up working with the Rap Game with Jermaine Dupri,
I remember the
and
rap
that's
game.
where
Okay.
yeah. When you'll see guys like Ken and the Beast on that TV show. You'll see Bad News on that TV show. We did a whole event with them, which was super dope. But just like anything in business, you got three owners, different views, different percentages of money being spent, and things just don't start making sense. So, I just kind of said, all right, cool. Let me just kind of remove myself from the situation. Um, and so I start a league called ABR, Atlanta Battle Rap here in Atlanta. through some very big events. I battled Goods. We booked, I don't know how many. J2 started over there. Yoshi G started over there.
You actually discovered
Um,
Yoshi G, is that correct?
our league
Oh, can you hear me?
time shoot. Sorry, I got a call. My bad.
Nah, you're fine. Okay, so your league discovered Yoshi G?
Yeah, our league discovered Yoshi G. Her boyfriend at the time battled for us and brought her around. Hope Trilly started over there. We had Trez came over there after he left Bullpen, kind of with me, um, and rocked with me over there. J2 started over there. Sniper had made a couple of appearances over there. We just kind of tried to we had a good run, and then in 2019, my brother had a wreck and was in a coma.
I'm so sorry.
Uh, and I kind of had to step away from battle rap. And ABR kind of fell to the wayside, and I didn't really kind of revisit it. I just kind of was stuck in my own world. Like I had a 3 year span of just if it was bad and it could happen, it did. My brother was in a coma. 2 years later, my father died on my 40th birthday.
I'm so sorry.
And yeah, bro. So it was just like, and in between all of this, I have kids and business and everything like that. So it just got to be a little too much. And then I started really working with the new guys. You know what I'm saying? Like really focusing on up and coming talent and giving the new guys opportunities, calling in favors from my relationships over the years. I always maintained that I've worked with King of the Dot some. Before Wing and I used to do a podcast together called the Breakdown Crew. Um, and between her and I, we were able to put together Yoshi versus J2 on RBE for the 1SK.
That's the highest viewed one SK, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So, I mean, just I've been around and had great relationships and things like that. But just like everybody else that's kind of coming up in this game, you realize that you know, some of this is opportunistic and some of it's genuine, and you kind of got to sort yourself through it, um, and get to, you know, the solid circle of people. I've been fortunate enough to work with people like Miss Hustle. Chef Trez has always been around. Conceited again, watching him start to where he is now, and then guys like Brixx and seeing John, you know, watching him kind of work through his quirks. Funny story about John. So the B Magic PG was actually supposed to be Brixx. Brixx
Oh
got
wow.
sick and couldn't. Brixx got sick and couldn't do it. So John stepped in, which is why it's a one rounder. Um, John goes and does that, has a lot of success, takes off with URL. Next thing you see him is Bill Collector. And then, of course, we get Brixx versus Sue Surf for his PG, which is like the worst stroke of luck.
Amazing.
It's like the worst stroke of luck ever in battle rap
Free
for
to
somebody.
wave, but that's a tough battle to start out with.
Right, that's his very first battle. It's his PG battle, and it's the one battle that nobody ever lets Brixx live down. He can be on a tear. He can go have a great battle, and if you go into the YouTube comments, yeah, but he got smoked by Surf. God damn, the battle.
Put it in subtitles. Definitely took off with that battle. Free to wave.
Yeah, free to wave, man.
But Brixx
So,
is incredible in his own right, though. He's definitely an incredible talent.
yeah, man, they all are. I had the pleasure of working with Heartless back in the day.
Oh my God.
Uh,
A lot of people don't know how incredible a puncher Heartless was.
yeah, man. I mean, and it was just a different time back then, man. I mean, you want to talk about support? I mean, our tryout card for GrindTime Georgia, we had 300 people in the building,
That's amazing.
and we did the first live stream ever. Some of y'all don't may not remember what UStream was, but UStream was the first really and we shot it with a fucking webcam. And it was like the worst quality ever. This is back in the day when battles were getting set up through like rapmusic.com. You were in tiny chat and shit like that. This is how all of these amazing battles back in the day occurred. We were in these forums and these different little weird spots of the internet, and that's how all of this stuff became a thing.
One thing you mentioned earlier was about how the money seemed to be a recurring issue in terms of ROI in battle rap, and I want you to speak to that because part of the foundation of what I do is because I understood that. I understood that ROI wasn't at its best in battle rap, so I decided to create a platform that just gave away the money versus making it about getting money back. Um,
But that was
what
kind of me. That was kind of me
you and I believe
back
you
in the
you
day.
kind of started that before I ever did.
Right.
But
So
why does battle rap have that issue with ROI? And if you could explain that for those who outsiders who may not know.
so companies, especially back in the day, like nobody had a LLC, nobody had an EIN number. That was the biggest problem with GrindTime. We weren't a solidified business, so trying to get sponsors and things like that and have people give us, we were just kids with cameras. Hold on, man. Sorry, man. That's actually somebody else I'm working with right now about trying to get a fucking ton. I'm
Ton
in the
is
middle of
fire.
helping
Salute
him with
ton.
the time. But if he paid attention, he'd know that this is going on. Um, but yeah, man. Uh,
ROI.
where were we from? Yeah, ROI.
Why is
Thank you, man.
ROI such a why is there no return on investment in battle rap?
Because the problem being, especially starting out early on, is the what battlers wanted to what was being brought through the door. This is, that was a time when tickets were $25 to get in, but a battler at the time wanted 5 grand.
Wow.
You can't make that up with one battle might cost $10,000 if you remember URL used to have a website. URL TV.tv originally was kind of like a World Star type website, and there was a portion of it where you could go on to donate to battles that we wanted to see, that us as the fans wanted to
Okay.
see. I mean, and there was, that was the Luxes and stuff like that. These guys wanted pretty serious money. Like I said, in 2007, Mook told me 80,000.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's kind of one of those it's kind of one of those situations where we've had all these sponsors come in, and then the money just gets spent, and people, a lot of us know who Harry is now, but nobody knew who Harry was kind of with the coming up through URL type situation. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Harry. Yep.
DNA, yeah, salute to Harry. DNA kind of brought him on board. I'm not even gonna say kind of, definitely brought Harry on board. And Harry was a big fan, but Harry just kept spending money, and there wasn't a benefit to him to keep doing it other than he wanted to see battles. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, you look at kind of what you've spent to what you've kind of gotten out of it, and you're like, okay, this was cool, but was it really the best business venture? And we just can't seem to, we had Exclusive Vodka come in, and battle rap is a niche industry, right? So you get a sponsor like Exclusive Vodka to come in, and the idea behind it is they're going to give us money to put on these battles, and we're going to get their vodka popping. Well, Exclusive Vodka, you can walk into any liquor store now, or even grocery stores, and it's on the very bottom of the shelf for $11.99 for a 1.75 liter bottle of vodka. Like, we did absolutely nothing for them.
Okay, that leads me to my next question. Why is it that battle rap has had a revolving door relationship with sponsors? I mean, as you said, we had Harry, Exclusive Vodka, Cigarella, Al
Al
Capone
Capone,
Cigarellos, Caffeine. What is it that they don't maintain the
we've had
relationships?
we battle rap had ended up on Comcast. Some of y'all don't know that either. Like, you used to be able to watch battles on demand on Comcast, and it didn't catch. Like this, we are a niche subgenre of hip hop. We all look at this and go, oh, they got 1 million subscribers, 1.5 million subscribers, and that's impressive. It took 10 years to make that happen. Meanwhile, there's a kid over here who is opening toys and giving you his perspective from an 8-year-old's opinion that has 40 million subs and is doing 15 million views in 3 days.
Man, is
We view ourselves as a much bigger entity than what we really are.
this is true. There is a big problem with more ego than money in battle rap for sure. Do you think that there's anything? Oh,
That
go ahead.
oh, no,
No,
my
no, no, no.
bad.
Go ahead. Go
Frank,
ahead.
go ahead. No, that's. I mean, I think that that's where we kind of, to us, this is amazing. To us, to the million subs over there at URL, or the 500,000 at RBE, or the 800,000 over King of the Dot. You know what's crazy? We're not even. We sit here and talk about the big three, right?
Mm-hmm.
King of the Dot, URL, RBE. You know what the biggest battle league in the world is?
Probably Russia or Philippines.
Flip Top out
Yep.
in the
Yep.
Philippines. There you go.
Yep.
Ding, 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 ding. Some ridiculous amount of subscribers, some ridiculous amount of views, and it was all authentic. And even they ended up closing their doors and just kind of moving on about their
Really?
lives. Yeah, man. Flip Top doesn't produce anything these days.
Wow.
I mean, it rarely does Don't Flop at this point. They you'll see events from time to time, and things like that, but they're not outside as much. King of the Dot doesn't come outside as much. They had a deal with Twitch that lasted what, 2 seasons.
What is it? Do you think that could change in terms of how battle rap presents that could garner more traction, or do you feel like it's kind of plateaued in that sense?
No, I think that Caffeine was a great lesson for all of us. I think Caffeine was one of those things that needed to happen. It was an amazing thing that came into the culture. It made some very large battles happen. It kept people's families fed and got people money they have never seen in their life legally. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact.
Like, for some of these guys, this is the most money they ever saw that wasn't a hustle, and they were getting paid very well for their art form, which they should. And that's kind of the thing too. We got to kind of start figuring out what's fair. You have all of these leagues. You have more leagues now. When I got into this, you had 2 leagues, not 3. Lions Den had kind of closed its doors, which is why you saw guys like Arsenal and Conceited coming over to GrindTime. Um, GrindTime used to promo King of the Dot during our battles. Hey, check out King of the Dot. Put your money where your mouth is. Whoop de whoop. And really, what's crazy is we're promoting them. Pat Stay being the biggest artist ever out of King of the Dot and one of the biggest artists in battle rap. Period. That's who inspired Drect. There was a very small league where he was from called the Elementals, where you can go see Pat Stay's very first battles on the Element
And
stage.
that's out there in Dartmouth.
Um, yeah, and that's kind of that's what inspired Drect to start GrindTime.
Wow. But I gotta shout out Cloudy Lungs in the building. He's got his platform. Definitely tune in to what they got going on. Salute to them. He had a great question. He wanted to know what your thoughts are on battle rappers starting leagues.
Um, Hard. I like it to a degree. Some are great. Salute to Easy. Salute to Geechee. Salute to John. Dre Dennis. Um, T Top starting his situation here, and there's a couple of more. Tay Rock. I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out. I think it's great, but in my personal opinion, it's kind of it's kind of weird to see because somehow all of these events end up on the app. So are they really starting their leagues, or are they more using their favors to provide content
Mm, that's tough.
to the bigger
That's
platform?
tough. That's tough. I want to take a step back before we get into that. You mentioned Pat Stay. Rest in peace, Pat Stay, and God bless his family. What is your fondest memory with Pat Stay?
My fondest memory with Pat Stay. Um, was probably the last conversation I had. I was in the middle of setting me and Pat Stay up here in Atlanta. And we had this back and forth in our DMs about how terrible the battle was going to be. Because I'm not the best rapper. I just have fun doing it. But the angle that I was going to take was I was Pat Stay from the future, old Pat Stay.
Pat gone. Okay. Okay.
And that was the thing. Like, we were planning this out. Like, we weren't writing together, but we were planning kind of the performance side of this. And the fact that he was just so open to do it.
That's so funny. That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was so open. He was so open to doing the battle, and understood the vision, and just loved off the wall ideas like that. He's one of the pioneers of the compliment battles. He always was willing to do things that were new and fun and innovative. And he talked to anybody. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just was an amazing person. And we lost a very, very big icon when he passed. Like,
Rest in peace, Pat Stay. That's incredible. Everybody I ask that question always has an incredible response, and that's one of the great ones right there too. Okay, so you mentioned the leagues. All right, we're gonna, anything that you don't want to talk about, I respect, but I have to ask this question: what is your current relationship with the big leagues? Each one.
um, ARP and I have a great relationship. It's always love when we see each other. Um, I mean, you can ask just about anybody that's been a part of that league. I've been at the events. We have a great rapport, great interaction when we talk. We text every now and then. I'm not gonna say we're best friends or anything like that, but you know, I'll shoot a text to him. He'll respond. Um, King of the Dot, Organic, and those guys over there, amazing. Have a great relationship and a great, outstanding relationship with them. Um, and anytime that we can work together, we do. Of course, what everybody's waiting to hear about is URL. Um, I My relationship with URL is kind of what most people's relationship is with URL. It's a give and take. Um, I appreciate them for everything that they've done. I got a lot of love for what Smack and Beasley and Norbes created. Um, and I think it's amazing to see how far they've built this up to becoming probably the most well-known league. Um, you know, in a outside of the culture, there are plenty of people that know who URL is that are not everyday members of this culture, and they are highly responsible for that. Can we work together? Yeah, absolutely. Um, and despite what everybody thinks, I don't have a disdain for the URL. Um, you know, One of the things about me is when you've been doing this as long as I've been doing this, I don't bite my tongue. I don't like, I knew all of us when we got started. You're my peer. You're not Uncle Smack to me. You're not the man behind the curtain, Beasley. You're not like Chico. I know what you look like. Like I'm not like it. Just I'm not moved by all that. I consider us all peers. Now, have you lapped me in success? Absolutely, and salute to you. But I mean, it's funny because with the URL situation, everybody focuses on the Netflix situation and focuses on these little rumors and things like that. But I was a whole Crucible scout before that,
Wow.
even leading up to that. Yeah, I was a Crucible scout for this last season.
Wow. What was your experience like as a Crucible Scout? And
It was super dope.
how do you compare it to the Crucible?
The Crucible Scout situation was cool. I liked how they had changed the format. Before you had like 6 picks, and then they narrowed it down. And then for this last season, they put it down to 2 picks. So it made it kind of more of a personal situation. Like you really had to think about who you were going to put up on that stage. It was no longer about, oh, well, 3 of these guys I definitely think are going to make it, and these 2 are my homies, so they get to have the experience. It was also the first time that uh, the Crucible had taken place in URL studio down in Orlando, which was a dope experience. And I went down for it and everything like that. And to watch how much smack truly, bro, we all had check-in at 9:30 in the morning. There's 34 battles that are supposed to take place. We're all there at 9:30 in the morning, and we're there till almost 10 o'clock at night.
Jesus.
Smack watched every one of those battles.
Wow.
Every one of them.
Wow.
Did not get up and leave. Arsenal was one of the judges. He sat through every one. They gave great input. The Crucible process is truly amazing for up and coming artists. The problem is that we just still haven't figured out what to do with Crucible artists. Kind of like we didn't know what to do with the intake guys over at RBE.
What do you think? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Frank.
No, what is the breakdown in development, both for the Crucible and for the intake guys?
So, one of the issues with the Crucible situation, and one of the issues I have with it is, I think you throw all of that on your million subscriber channel. You don't throw it on the app. You don't put it through a paywall. If you're trying to get exposure to the new talent and you want to know who the new stars is, you give that content away for free. You put that out to the masses and let all of you guys that are in this space right now, or let the culture in general decide who we think is next up. The other thing is that they weren't broke down by individual battles on the app either. It was hour-long segments and pieces of battles. It wasn't complete battles. Like it's hard to become a fan of somebody on a 45-second clip. So I just think that they should have used kind of YouTube as a opportunity to give these newer guys exposure and do it the way they did it back in the day. Drop a round, see what it does. If people want to see it, drop the other round that goes behind it. When battle rap started on YouTube, you could only upload 5-minute videos, which is why battles were 90 seconds, which is why they dropped one round at a time. Like you could have really gone back to the essence, and you could have gotten a kind of a gauge of who people were really interested in. And I just think that they.
And what about the intake process?
The intake process, they kind of did what they tried to. The intake process. They tried to take guys and do exactly that. Use the YouTube channel to promote them, which was amazing. Thought that was a brilliant move on everybody involved in that. Where they failed was more of the focus on, they had that big saying, the 70-30 thing, 70% promotion, 30% rapping. Well, from my humble opinion, and somebody that's been in this long, a lot of y'all were buns. Don't nobody want to see that shit. A lot of y'all don't rap well. You pick fights on Twitter well. You have a way of getting people's attention on this app. It doesn't resonate to the performance and the battles. And there was no real thought in the matchups. It was just like, oh, you rap, pay your money. Hey, boom, y'all get to rap. And we're going to drop you on a 500,000 subscriber channel. And, hopefully all this bullshit you got involved in on Twitter will resonate to views, and it didn't. There's no reason why battles like that should have 1,000 views on a 500,000 subscriber channel.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on KOTD right now?
Um, I think KOTD is they I think they're amazing at how they do things now. They've kind of taken a step back. They put a lot of thought into their cards now. They don't pop out as much. So when they announce a card, we all get excited. We all get nostalgic about Blackout and some of their bigger events. It is sad that like their last few events have been more of a celebration of life for people, and we keep losing people in this culture, so that sucks. But I think it's great, kind of how they do it and how they incorporate, um, you know, the URL rappers and the grind time rappers and the King of the Dot rappers and the RBE guy. Like they're like they're Sweden. It's like the one place you can all go and it's fine. So I think that they have a special place in battle rap, and when they put together these large events, they're done very well. Pay per views are amazing. Content is great, and then we don't see them for a year, maybe longer.
Hmm. There seems to have been new emerging major leagues. I would have to say at the forefront would be TBL and Bags and Bodies. What are your thoughts on both of those leagues?
Um, Bags and Bodies, I think it's amazing what Hitman's done with his name, what he's done outside of battle rap to come back to battle rap and try. I mean, he gave us our first reality show, really, like authentic reality show. He's thrown some very large events with great matchups. Um, so I have nothing but respect for what Hitman and Bags and Bodies has done. Um, you know, they kind of, with a name like Hitman and the views he does and his outside fan base, that's nothing but a recipe for success. Um, TBL. Um, some of y'all should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Actually, TBL's been around for quite some time,
Speak on it.
and I see everybody putting their pom poms on, talking about, oh, I really want to be on the next card. They've been throwing cards for years, and this is why I tell all y'all, become a fan of things before they become something like that, because now you just look thirsty. When they were trying to put together events and they were trying to do all that, now because they were able to make Rum Nitty and Daylight happen. Now you give them, Frank, that right there, that's the problem with battle rap. There's the problem with your ROI. These guys had to go spend a bazillion fucking dollars to become a household name overnight, even though they've been putting work in consecutively for a while. But nobody wanted to support that shit.
Mm.
But now, hey, it's the new hot thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
everybody wants to. Now everybody wants to be a part of the Murda Mook Hitman card. It's like it's like, bro, you think Chilla and those guys over there are just going to answer the phone for you now? There's a reason why the battlers you saw on that card are on that card, because those are personal relationships, people that have supported each other over the years. You got a nice variety of different styles of rappers, including, um, you know, Space Guys. Eunice has one of the best battles on the card. I
Salute to
mean,
Eunice for sure.
salute to Eunice. Salute to everybody that was a part of that TBL card. Longest event ever in history.
But great battles though, for sure.
But great, yeah, no, but great battle, great, amazing battles. Super proud of that whole team over there. Can't wait to see the May event here in Atlanta, and then that September event, of course, back in Houston. Hitman and Murda Mook. Yeah, man, I think this is great. It's challenging it to tie it all back in with battle rappers starting leagues and some of these newer leagues that are coming out and really making an impact. I think it challenges URL, but it also gives URL a break on and to where they can figure out what the next move is. I mean, I know for a fact there's an announcement coming, and it's going to be huge.
Absolutely.
The URL announcement that's coming is going to be, everybody's going to be super excited.
I agree. So looking back, not only were you fundamental in creating some of these opportunities for these creatives, but you yourself decided to put your own money up. Looking back on your journey as a sponsor, what are you most proud of, and what advice would you have for future sponsors?
Um, it's never a loss when it's something that you love. If you're passionate about something, sneakers, there's no return on investment unless you're just reselling them. But if you're buying them to wear and just have a collection, there's not really, you're doing it for the love of something. If you're into baseball cards or whatever your hobby is, if you have a genuine love for it, there's very little regret. Um, I always say that battle rap is the worst side chick ever. You just it's bad for you, but you can't get rid of it. It does nothing but hurt things kind of around you, but you just cannot walk away. But I love this shit, bro. Like it's to see people be able to fulfill. I think for me, it's watching people become successful and be able to survive off this. Watching Chef Trez be able to go day to day through life and being able to support a son and a girl and a family, and it's based on this art form that he loves and he's worked so hard in, is really amazing. And if I can have a hand in helping that and watching somebody's dreams or their passion come true, I that's my favorite part about it. Getting to see somebody be successful and live something out and become iconic. All of this stuff, like for any battle rapper that's in here, for any um, sp- personality that has a voice in this, the Frank Whites, the Tatis I'm talking about the space people now, Casanovas, all of you guys are now immortalized in this. Your spaces are on YouTube. You're going to for your kids are going to be able to go and see the shit that you did and what you contributed to this culture. I think that's you're forever immortalized.
100%. I think for me personally, and salute to everybody else that you mentioned, but for me personally, Uh, I remember nights when I was on the bench stealing Wi-Fi from Starbucks, homeless, nowhere to go, no money at all. Long before I started making money, and I would be up watching battles. Bullpen introduced me to a bunch of talent. As I said, DNA and Chef Trez was a battle where I was introduced to Chef Trez, and these artists inspired me and entertained me, and also helped to give me an escape from my circumstances. So now to be able to give back to a culture that did that for me, that's the ultimate fulfillment, which is why I can make my platform about just giving the money away as opposed to trying to do it as a business and getting an ROI. And you're 100% right. When you love something and you're passionate, it's never a loss. But on the flip side of that, it's definitely been a journey navigating personalities, entitlement, betrayals. It's just a lot of negativity in battle rap. What has been your experience with that, and how have you been able for this long to deal with all of that?
Bro, to be honest, man, like my wife supports me heavily in this. Like she understands how much I love this, and so having my home life, my kids love this stuff. My oldest got to come to her first event here recently. So having that at home is a big help. But I've gone from being big bro to the colonizer, the white man, the this, the that, to just being completely torn apart on something I can't change, even though 5 minutes ago, bro, we were just BFF. Like for me, my experience in this is understanding you have to understand who you are, and you got to understand the people that are around you and who's really there for you and who's there for the opportunity. That's why I have no problem telling people no now. I don't have an issue telling you that you're your ass or you should find something else to do with your free time. This ain't it. Um, you'll see the same people around me at every event. My circle hasn't changed in over a decade at this point. Um, and that's kind of the key thing. Put people around you that understand you, that respect you. Your opinion matters just like their opinion matters. I don't have any yes men. I have I have yeah men. I have yeah bro, you fucked up. Or yeah, that was a great job. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? I don't keep yes men around me that just want a handout or think I can provide something for them. It's got to be a mutual respect thing, which is why Chef Trez can walk out of Netflix for $50,000 on my behalf. At least that's what we heard. It was 50,000. But like that's what I'm talking about. When he felt like I was being disrespected, he walked out. I had nothing to do with that. I had no idea what was even going on. So that's that's a super important thing, and just being true to yourself and knowing who you are. The fuck I look like getting up here arguing with everybody over something I can't change. Yes, I'm white, and I can't do a fucking thing about it. But what I can tell you is that I have a genuine love for this culture, and there's a lot of people that rock with me that are very well known in this culture, and we have a respect for each other. And that's why I'm able to book and help leagues and battlers get matchups and things like that, because I've put in that work and everything like that. So if you're true to yourself and you are truly an authentic soul, it'll show. You don't have to pretend to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? That like aura is aura. You can't buy it. You can't fake it. It's just on you.
That's
So
real. That's super real. When I came into this game, any talent that I work with was already established. I've never helped build a battler in any way. It was always collaborations. So I don't know what that feeling is like to meet someone at starting point and then grow with them. And the way you speak about Chef Trez is clear as day that there's just this mutual respect that you guys have for each other. Walk us through that. Tell us your relationship with Chef Trez. How did it start, and how do you feel about how he's become this legendary battler from the South?
um, I met Trez when he was 18 years old. Um, I've been following Spit That Heat. Shout out to Milltown Blow. When GrindTime Georgia kind of ended, Spit That Heat popped up and created something. They took a blueprint and made it something so much more down here in the South, and that can't ever go unseen and unspoke about. That's where you get the Briz Rothsteins and the T Tops and things of that nature. Salute to RBC and stuff too, where they came from. But Spit That Heat is what put them on. I started following Spit That Heat heavy. I was working with Don't Flop at the time on this event. We had a cancellation, and we're all sitting around. We're trying to figure out. And I was like, "Yo, I know this kid that battles on Spit That Heat. He's local." I was like, "His name's Chef Trez." I said, "Probably one of the greatest freestylers and just rebuttalers I've ever seen in my life." Um, you know, they were like, "Do you think you could get in touch with him?" And of course, me being who I was at the time, I'm like, "Oh yeah, of course I could." I had no clue if I could or not. Completely just said yes for no fucking reason. So I end up tracking him down. We get on the phone. It's a very weird conversation. He doesn't know I'm white at the time. He does not know who I am. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll do the battle." It's like the weekend after Thanksgiving. It's like Thanksgiving's Thursday. This event is that Saturday. And he's like, "Yo, it's kind of last minute. We worked out the numbers or whatever." I said, "Yo, cool. I'll pull up on you and hand you your bread tomorrow." Um, so he gave me his address. I drive out to Lawrenceville, and I pull up on him, and it's just kind of a, this is literally the block. This is his hood. Like where he's from is not a great area, and I just kind of pulled in there, regular, comfortable. Got out. We started talking. We did the business side. We just kind of sat there for a while and hung out and chopped it up and started talking. And it just kind of progressed into like this friendship thing where we kind of had a trust for each other, because we both did the things that we said we would do, and at the, in battle rap that's kind of rare sometimes.
That's a
So
fact.
it just kind of turned into, it was a business thing, then it turned into a friendship thing, and he started calling and asking for advice about real life situations. Me being an older guy, I'm in my 30s, mid 30s at this point. He was always a student of life. If what could he learn? What could he, where could he improve things personally and professionally? And then there was times where, I was still very hot headed, and even little bro had to be the voice of reason for me to be like, nah, Chris, you don't, like, this ain't necessary. Like, you're better than that. And it became this brotherhood. And he's one of my best friends in life. If this all ends tomorrow, um, you know, him and I will remain lifelong friends. So that I trust that man with anything in every aspect of my life. Now, as far as his success, there's not a single person that could take credit for that, man. He had a huge following on Vine before all of this. He was doing skits. That's how you got some of the old Spit That Heat skits that weren't that, the kind of the videos that were just kind of promo stuff. He's always had a vision for creativity and what he does. And he just refuses to not be successful. And that's a rare commodity in life, man. And so it's an honor to call him my friend. It's a privilege to have watched him become what he's become in battle rap. Um, and the only person who can take credit for that is that man right there. So
Big salute to Chef Trez. Do you think we need to see you manage Conceited early on in his career? Do you think we need to see Conceited versus Rum Nitty to decide definitively who's the best puncher of all time?
man, I've heard this debate. Fuck, I don't know how many years at this point. This
Yeah.
ever since he got on Wildin' Out. How long has he been on Wildin' Out now? 10 years, maybe longer. This debate keeps coming back. Let Khan be where Khan's at. Khan has found a path that works for him. I just don't know that this is where we need him. I don't know that it would resonate now with today's culture, especially because even though he's as talented as he is and his ability and what he brought to battle rap originally, everybody in Sons, from Quantum to Heartless to even Fox, what if the Sons came out today, they'd be the greatest battle rap group going right now. They created a lane for a lot of people. Some of the, I mean, if you, we're not going to sit here and pretend that New Jersey Twerk was not a fan of Conceited. If you go to Twerk's, one of Twerk's first videos, hat and everything, style, delivery, Con. Go look it up. It's incredible the impact that he had. But I think that we should move past that. Rum Nitty is a super active battler, one of the greatest to ever do it. He just battled Daylight. Lux is next. I do. I mean, unless you're a big nostalgia guy and you just want to be disappointed, I just don't think that battle needs to happen. I don't think
Wow.
it's. I don't
Wow.
think it's like seeing Tyson fight. How excited did we get to see Tyson fight until we got out there? Like, oh fuck, he's old.
So then we just accept Rum Nitty as the greatest puncher and just leave it at that.
No, you constantly debate why somebody else. I mean, it's not like we settled and said Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time.
That's
There's
true.
Kobe,
That's
there's
true.
LeBron. Nobody, there's battle rap, just like any other sport, is generational. Like, King Griffey Jr. is one of the greatest baseball players to ever live to me, but that doesn't mean that, somebody else's opinion isn't going to be somebody else. I mean, I'm a Michael Jordan guy. I think he's the greatest to ever do it. But there's plenty of, Kobe fans and LeBron fans that'll debate me and argue with me until we're all blue in the face. I just think that we leave that exactly where that's at. and just accept the greatness of generations.
I respect that answer so much. Thank you for that different perspective. If you said earlier that you didn't know what was going on at Netflix with Chef Trez and all that stuff, uh, if you could, would you have handled it differently if you were aware of what was going on?
Um, yeah, I can tell you this is how well Trez and I know each other. There was plenty of opportunity for Beasley and or whoever at that point, because we had spoken numerous times throughout the day, to come up and tell me, "Hey, look, man, your comments about the mayor, we're working with them. Whoop de whoop. We just don't think it's a good idea for you to be on stage." Here's the thing. Here's one thing that would have happened. Trez would have never known that conversation occurred, because I knew he would have been pissed. But I'm not one of those guys that got to be the look at me, I'm on stage thing. I didn't give a shit about that. I just wanted to see the battle happen. I've been trying to see J2 and Trez back. The battle's been booked I don't know how many times at this point, and it just doesn't happen. Um, so had they just come to me personally, it would have never been a conversation. The reason why Trez didn't say anything to me until after we left the event is he knows, A, I'm a hothead, and that conversation could have gone one of two ways. I would have either blown up or I would have convinced him to rap. And he just stood on principle. He didn't agree with it, and he didn't want to give me the option to talk him out of it or talk him into doing it. So he made the decision, and that's what it was. Um, do I think? I guess sometimes I forget. For somebody who's not supposed to be so known, my comments reach a very large audience. Frank, wouldn't you agree?
Listen, brother, that's going to be my next question. As a person who personally tweets out wild things constantly, and I know at some point, God forbid, but if I'm not able to operate in the shadows as I do now and I become more of a public figure, there's going to be some tweets come up that are questionable. So some of your tweets have also been a little bit crazy.
Okay.
Where do you stand on that?
You're gonna have to be more specific about the tweets, Frank. I mean,
Okay, so I remember
if
when
you
that whole situation happened, there was like NuNu tweets and stuff like that, and it looked crazy.
okay, so we're talking about the NuNu baby thing, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so I knew for a fact that that wasn't a real thing. These are jokes. Those tweets are happening during the event where all the rappers are battling and talking about. She's a punchline at the time. So this is just trolling banter while whatever Gnome or Summer Madness was going on when all this broke out. Every battler had the NuNu bars. I, bro, I knew that wasn't real. But when you take it, like when you take something from that long ago and you take it out of context and replies and everybody else that's tweeting about it at the time, yeah, it looks kind of crazy. I agree. But I mean, you know, that person who does that puts that type of information out, that's what they do. That's their shtick. That's how they get your attention. I mean, they take something, make it seem way worse than what it is, and then sees if it sticks and if he gets views or comments from it or anything like that. I don't care about somebody who can't. The person that puts that out can't show his face. Chris Petty is my legal government name. I'm outside. I'm at events. I'm out of town. I'm wherever. I'm where a lot of y'all want to be sometimes. I don't feel any type of way about anything, because there's a conversation that can be had. Now, if somebody feels like they want to do something, you're more than welcome to uh, invite that into your world, and God forbid whatever happens. But
God forbid. God
God
forbid.
forbid, God forbid. You know what I'm saying?
We want you to live a long and prosperous life. So you helped found GrindTime Georgia.
Right.
What year was that? Do you remember?
2008, late
2008.
2008, going into 2000. Yeah.
So 17 years later, you helped found OSBL ATL. Talk to us about that and how you linked up with Kels. I want to say shout out to Kels. She's been like a mentor to me in this industry. Super stand-up woman, uh, good business, full of integrity. Tell me how that came together.
That's kind of funny. So she manages J2 now. And J2 and I had a
Salute my brother J2. Go ahead.
salute J2, man. That's one of my one of my closest friends too, man. Like, you know, um, we had a conversation in the summertime, kind of about the Atlanta scene, and kind of how we weren't. Bullpen was kind of on its way out the door, according to John. I'm not saying that that's a fact, but with the Casty event, that was kind of like the end. He called it the end game. We didn't, he kind of alluded to the fact that Bullpen was kind of over for the time being. We were all kind of trying to talk about, like, there's nothing really active in Atlanta. You have a bunch of leagues that come here and visit, but they're not home based. And we were just kind of coming up with different solutions. And I said, I got to be honest. I said, I got a lot of respect for Kels and the whole OSBL thing and everything she's kind of created over there. I said, I'm so picky about who I would partner with now in a business venture. That would be the only way I would fully come outside and start putting productions together again. About 4 days later, my phone rings. It's Kels.
Crazy.
Kels and I get on the phone. We start talking. It all makes a lot of sense. We both have similar ideas with matchups. We have similar ideology with battle rap in general. We have creative ideas that kind of go together. And so this was probably one of my best working with Kels, and this first event with OSBL Atlanta was probably one of my favorite events that at the end of it, I looked at and went, man, that was just really dope. And the battles are dropping soon, but every one of them is amazing. But yeah, I mean, the business was good. It wasn't a one-sided partnership like before. And at the end of the day, we broke bread together, had a great time, put on a quality event. We're out the door by 7:00, and everybody got to go have free time and shit like that. And just everybody got home and everybody had great things to say about it. I mean, it was just kind of one of those, it's a connections thing, Frankie. Like, that's how Kels and I were able to start working together. Same way Dre Dennis and I have worked together in the past. It's a relationship thing, and your name being good and your business always being good. People can say a lot of things about me. They can't say anything about my business. There ain't a battle rapper out here you can say I owe them $1. There's not a league out here that can say I owe them some money. Now, I can't say the same thing on the opposite side of things, but I'm sure you understand that.
I absolutely do. I want to salute you, Chris Petty. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to salute you for 17 years of excellence and your contribution to the culture. I want to thank you for being so honest about everything we talked about today. I want to tell you that there is love and support out here for you. Never forget the love. There's always going to be haters and bullshit, but never forget the love. There's a lot of love and support for you. Oh, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Miss Hustle. You spoke about Chef Trez. What about Miss Hustle? What are your thoughts, and how has the journey been for y'all working together?
Miss Hustle and I were the perfect combination of evil and evil. And I say "were" like it's a past tense thing, but it's not. It's not really a past tense thing. I just realized that kind of my outspoken ways and certain things could hurt her professionally, with the way certain people feel about me. So it became more of just a behind the scenes thing. That's still my sis. We talk on a regular. Um, that's another friend. We've known each other for a long time. We actually started out hating each other, and then we bumped into each other at an event. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. She ran down on me with all the energy. I mean, hey, yo, Petty, and then hit me with a, "Why don't you like me?" And it was like a crazy. It was a crazy experience, but we had a conversation, and then always kind of remained close and had conversations. And there's been things that we've been able to help each other out with, and stuff like that. So working with her has been awesome, and seeing how far she's come too, to becoming Mount Rushmore in female battle rap. I
Absolutely.
think that goes. I think that goes without debate. She is one of the most dominating female battle rappers in the game today, and just has gotten more and more dominating. over the years. And, you know, when you speak of female battle rap, you gotta say Miss Hustle. I mean, she's battled every female and every top tier male. What she's contributed to what what she's done for female battle rap is amazing, and been able to help keep it alive with all the other girls. Even when, you know, Queen of the Ring kind of took its little leave of absence and people didn't kind of know what was going to happen there and what was going to happen with female battle rap, you know, they all kept it alive. And she's got some big announcements coming out soon too. Y'all stay tuned to that. I think one of them dropped today. She's battling Chirac. Chirac, honey, I'm gonna need you to work on your projection and your delivery, because that's gonna get real dark, real fast if you don't. Like, salute to you on the iPhone 8 home button bar, probably one of the best bars of last weekend, but that ain't gonna do it against Hustle. You are going to have to get all of the Infinity Stones and Thanos snap a win out of this situation. So you need to,
All right, that was God.
leading up to this.
You kind of cut out. Are you still there?
Bro,
Wait,
my
God,
phone, yeah, my
you there?
phone. I got a phone. Yeah, I'm here.
No. You a busy man. I'm a last question. You managed Conceited. You've managed Trez. You've managed Miss Hustle. What advice? These are all greats, all goats in battle rap. What advice do you have for up and coming talent?
Make sure you got a good team around you. Take criticism. Don't take it personal. I get that you're all artists and you're sensitive about your shit, but you keep in mind that what you're being told is from an exterior ear. They're hearing something that you may not be aware of. You know, focus on the craft, man. Take it serious. If you want to show up on time, that doesn't go unnoticed. Show up on time. Give a dope performance. People will be willing to get get behind, support you. You know, there's always eyes watching. Eyes like Frank. Eyes like me. Eyes like different people in the culture that have connections or are willing to put up money for an opportunity for you and see you be successful. But listen to people around you. Maybe not necessarily your closest friends. Listen to your biggest hater. Your biggest hater becomes your biggest supporter, because they just want to see you fail, and when you don't fail, they become a fan. Um, and just, you know, it gets frustrating. It does. Don't let it beat you up. You know, you get smoked. You get smoked. If you you know, 30 somebody, great, but don't lose focus that the next one you could get 30. The one thing I tell every artist I ever work with, and anybody that ever asks me kind of what you just asked me, treat every battle like your end game. If your end game in battle is to battle Lux or Nitty or whoever it is, if you're battling MC Cheeseburger, you need to battle him like you would Lux. Fuck the name. It's the end of the mission. That's what you're focused on. You don't focus on that opponent. You focus on your last opponent. Whatever it is, that when you look back at battle rap and go, I did everything I wanted to do. There you go.
Chris Petty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for your contribution to your culture, for your time, for everything that you've done for battle rap and everything that you're gonna do. We appreciate you. We love you. God bless you and your family. And I wish you years and years and years of success. Thank you, Chris.
I appreciate it, brother, man. Thank you too. I appreciate everybody's time. Y'all be kind in the comments and shit. I'm gonna holler at y'all later.
Peace. We out of here.